Good day, everyone. We are the Group 6, and our topic is Teacher as a Professional. I am the first reporter, Natalie Kate Galliner. In this lesson, we will talk about the 3 laws on the professionalization of teaching: the Presidential Decree number 1006, the Republic Act number 7836, and Republic Act number 9293. Presidential Decree number 1006, providing for the professionalization of teachers, regulating their practice in the Philippines and for other purposes. Section 1, title, Decree Professionalizing Teaching. Section 2, Declaration of Policy. This states that teacher education is a primary concern by the government because it is important for the Filipinos to be given highest quality of needs. Section 3, Definition of Terms. Teaching refers to the profession primarily concerned with the classroom instruction at the elementary and secondary levels in accordance with the curriculum prescribed by National Board of Education, whether on part-time or full-time basis in the public or private schools. Teachers refers to all persons engaged in teaching at elementary and secondary levels, whether on full-time or part-time basis, including guidance counselors, school librarians, industrial arts or vocational teachers, and all other persons performing supervisory and or administrative functions in all schools in the aforesaid levels and legally qualified to practice teaching under this decree. Board refers to the National Board for Teachers duly constituted under this decree. Section 4, Creation of the National Board for Teachers, consists of Secretary of Education and Culture, Chairman, Civil Service Commission, Commissioner, Professional Regulations Commission, and 2 members representing the private sector to be appointed by the President. Section 5, Powers and Duties. Muna ilang mabuhat o ilang mga trabaho. So, A, appoints people para mo prepare sa mga questionnaires na exam sa future teachers na makuha og board exam, which is held once a year sa elementary and secondary. B, appoints supervisors and room examiners to find dates and schedules for the exam. C, kaya po nila makita ang mga naka-affect na teaching profession para ma-change or ma-enhance pa nila like the professional standards. And D, they can also suspend, replace, issue, and reissue ang professional teachers ang certificate and administer oaths. E, appoint action in the laws for the officials obligatory to do their responsibilities and duties and provide compensation for their work. And G, promote rules and regulations that may affect this decree. Section 6, Qualification Requirements for Examination Applicants. Dapat kanina mga requirements na makomply nimo sa board and the Civil Service Commission and the Department of Education and Culture. A, accept those who have been engaged in teaching as herein defined for at least 5 years in schools in the Philippines. The applicant must be a citizen of the Philippines. B, that he is of good moral character. C, that he is free from any physical or mental defect which can incapacitate him to render efficient service. And D, that he possesses the following minimum educational qualifications. Section 7, Appointment of Examiners. Ang board mo appoint og mga tigbantay or mo facilitate with authorities sa mga mo-take og exam. Section 8, Scope of the Examination. Nagdetermine sa test kung nakapass ka or not kay tan-awon ka sa board by written exam. Section 9, Ratings in the Examinations. In order that a candidate may be deemed to have successfully passed the examinations, he must have obtained a general average of at least 70% in all subjects with no rating below 50% in any subject. Section 10, Report of the Results of Examination. The examiners must report the obtained ratings to the board after 150 days after the exam, except kung ang board nag-ingon na pwede sila ma-extend. Section 11. Issuance of certificates. Ang nakapasar sa board kay tagaan og certificate by the Civil Service Commission and the Department of Education and Culture. Section 12. Registration. I-register nila ang mga names na nakakuha og certificate sa board as evidence na nakapasar og right sila para as a professional teacher. Section 13. Reissuance of revoked certificates and replacement of lost certificates. Ang board willing sila mo give of duplicate sa every certificate in case mawala ang usa ka copy sa individual pero nag-required siya og fee. Section 14. Registration by reciprocity. If a teacher gikan gawas, foreign country, and same ra sa Philippines og requirements, the teacher will no longer take another exam and vice versa sad ko ang gikan sa Pilipinas kay moadto og gawas tapos ang requirements parehara og content. So section 15. Prohibition. Dapat holder kag professional teacher certificate para maka-teach ka either sa elementary, secondary, private, or public school. Section 16. Penal provision. If mo teach ka na walay certificate or mo borrow kag certificate sa laing holder, kay makabayad ka og fine kay it's considered as a violation. Section 17. Repealing clause. All acts, decrees, executive orders, administrative orders, rules and regulations or parts thereof inconsistent with the provisions of this decree are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Section 18. Separability clause. This decree will not be applied if not agreed to this court or to the court. Section 19. Effectivity. This decree shall take effect on January 1, 1977.
So, good evening everyone. I am Joreen L. Gipatalagan, the next reporter. So, Republic Act Number 7836, an act to strengthen the regulation and supervision of the practice of teaching in the Philippines and prescribing licensure examination for teachers and for other purposes. So, Article 1, Section 1, the short title of this Republic Act is the Philippine Teachers Professionalization of Act 1994. Section 2, Statement of Policy. So this state recognizes the vital role of teachers and nation building and developing through a responsible and literate citizenry. Toward this end, the state call ensure and promote quality education by proper supervision and regulation of the licensure examination and professionalization of the practice of the teaching. So, the objective is the promotion, development, professionalization of teachers and the teaching profession, the supervision and regulation of the licensure examination. So, Section 4, definition of terms. So, maano siya ang definition sa Republic Act. So, the first is teaching. Refers to the profession concerned primarily with classroom instruction at elementary and secondary levels in accordance with the curriculum prescribed by Department of Education, Culture, and Sport, whether part-time or full-time basis in the private or public school. So, teaching is pwede na ka maka-teach sa public or private. O pwede po mag full-time or mag part-time job ka sa kaan. So, pwede po sa DepEd So, next is teachers. Refers the all person engaged in teaching at elementary and secondary levels, whether part-time or full-time basis, including industrial arts or vocational teachers and all other person performing supervisory and or administrative function in all schools and the aforesaid levels and qualified to practice teaching and this act. So the board refers to the board of professional teachers duty established and constituted under the act. And the last one is commission. Refers to the Professional Regulation Commission. So in short, and it's a Professional Regulation Commission, which is PRC. So Article 2, Board for Professional Teachers. Section 5, Creation and Composition of the Board. A collegial body under the general supervision and the administrative control of the Professional Regulation Commission. Section 6, Duties and Function of the Board. The Board shall enforce the Act, organize licensure examination, issue, suspend, or revoke certificate of registration, and ensure all educational institutions offering elementary and secondary education comply with the essential requirements for curricular, faculty, and facilities. Section 7. Terms of office. The members of the board shall hold office for a term of 3 years. So, Section 8. Qualification of board members. Must be a citizen and members of the Philippines 35 years of age, a degree holder of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science in Education. Be a registered professional teacher in the active practice at least 10 years, and not member or have any pecuniary interest in any institution conferring a bachelor degree in education or its equivalent for at least 3 years. So, ang pamaagi sa lisensyado kung magkuha kag ma-license teacher na ka is ang PRC or Professional Regulation Commission. So ang kani siya is mga siwa ng examination. So dili po ni siya basta-basta kuhaon ang PRC board members. Kinahanglan jud siya og kanang must be a citizen and members of Philippines. And then 35 years old, a degree holder of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science in Education. Be a registered professional teacher in the active practice at least 10 years. So, kung kung ganahan ka mukha ka ng license to be a teacher, so kinahanglan jud ka kung mukha kag PRC is kinahanglan na nila. So next is compensation of the board. So the chairman, vice chairman, and the members of the board shall receive compensation comparable to the compensation received by existing regulatory boards under the Professional Regulation Commission. So maonis siya. So, and Section 10, supervision of the board. So ang kanidang compensation of the board is kanang mura siya kanang benefits ba sa mga sweldo. Then, ang Section 10 is supervision of the board and custodian of its records. The board shall be under the supervision and control of the Commission. All records shall be kept by the Commission. And Section 11, Secretarial and Support Services. The Professional Regulation Commission shall provide the secretarial at the other support services to implement effectively the provision of this Act. And then the last is Section 12, removal of a board. So, the chairman or any members of the board may be removed by the President upon recommendation of the Commission. So, kung ganahan ka puhon, kung ganahan ka magkuha license, is daghan jud siya kung anohan ka nang i-follow kung unsay angay kuhaon para mahimo kang lisensyado nga teachers. So, the next reporter of article number 3 is Edlin Gonzaga.
Article 3 Examination and Registration. Section 13 Examination, Registration, and License Required. All applicants for registration as professional teacher shall be required to undergo a writing examination which shall be given at least once a year in such places and dates as the board may determine upon approval by Commission. Section 14 Scope of examination. The examinations for the elementary and secondary school teacher shall be separated. The examination for teacher in the elementary level shall consist of two parts, namely, professional education and general education. The examination for teacher in the secondary level shall consist of three parts, namely, professional education, general education, and field of specialization. Section 15. Qualification requirements of applicants. No applicant shall be admitted to take the examination unless on the dates of filing of examination he shall have complied with the following requirements. A graduate of a school, college, or university recognized by the government and possesses the minimum education qualifications as follows. For teacher of vocational and 2 years technical courses, a bachelor degree in a field specialization or its equivalent, with at least 18 units in professional education. Section 16. Report of the result of examination. The board shall, within 120 days after the examination, reports the rating obtained by each candidate to the Professional Regulation Commission for approval and appropriate action. Section 17. Issuance of Certificate of Registration and Professional License. This license shall serve as evidence that the licensed can lawfully practice his profession until the expiration of its validity. Section 18. Oath before practice. Every registrant shall be required to take his professional oath before practicing a professional teacher. Section 19. Periodic merit examination of teachers. To encourage continuing professional growth and development and to provide additional basis for merit promotion, in addition to their performance rating, teacher may take an oral and writing examination at least once in 5 years as basis for merit promotion. In taking this examination, no fee shall be required. Section 20. Failure to pass the merit examination. If a teacher failed to pass the merit examination, he or she shall be allowed to take the examination for a second time, should he or she fail to pass the merit examination for the second time, then he or she shall be required to take a DECS accredited refresher course or program before being allowed to retake the examination. Failure of any permanent teacher to pass the merit examination shall not, however, be used as a ground for his/her dismissal or demotion. Section 22. Incentives. Teacher who pass the merit examination shall be awarded a diploma of merit by the board, earn merit points for purposes of promotion in salary or to a higher position or grade level, be placed in priority list for government scholarship, and enjoy such other benefits as may be promulgated by the board. Similar incentives shall be given to teachers who make inventions, develop new methods of teaching, write a books, and create works of artistic merit. Section 22. Integration of the teaching profession. The teaching profession shall be integrated into one national organization which shall be recognized by the board and the commission as the one and only integrated and accredited association of professional teacher upon registration with the board. Every professional teacher shall be encouraged to become a member of the integrated national organization. Section 23. Revocation of the certificate of registration, suspension from the practice of teaching profession, and cancellation of temporary or special permit. The board shall have the power after due notice and hiring to suspend or revoke the certificate of registration of any registrant, to reprimand, rep- reprimand or to cancel the temporary special permit of a holder thereof who is exempt from registration for any of the following causes: A. Conviction for any criminal offense by a court of competent jurisdiction. B. Immoral, professional, or dishonorable conduct. The decision of the board to revoke or suspend a certificate may be appealed to the regional trial court of the place where the board hold of office within 15 days from receipt of the said decision of the denial of the motion for reconsideration filed in due time. Section 24. Registration by reciprocity. No teacher of a foreign nationality shall be admitted to the examination, or be given a certificate of registration, or be entitled to any of the right and privilege provided under this act, unless the country or state of which he is a subject permit Filipino professional teacher to practice within its territorial limits on the same basis as subjects or citizens of said country or state, provided that the requirements of certificate of teacher with said foreign state or country are substantially the same as those required as completed under this act, provided further that the law of such state or country grant the same privilege to Filipino professional examination, or be given a certificate of registration, or be entitled to any of the right and privilege provided under this act, unless the country or state of which he is a subject permit Filipino professional teacher to practice within its territorial limits on the same basis as subjects or citizens of said country or state, provided that the requirements of certificate of teacher with said foreign state or country are substantially the same as those required as completed under this act, provided. Further, that the law of such state or country grant the same privilege to Filipino professional teacher on the same basis as the subject or citizen of such foreign country or state. Section 25. Roster or professional teacher. A roster of professional teacher containing the name and addresses of professional teachers, date of registration or issuance of certificate, and other data which in the opinion of the board may appear pertinent shall be maintained. Copies of the roster shall be provided by the Commission to the Board, a Department of Education, Culture, and Sport, and the integrated and accredited organization of professional teacher. Section 24. Registration and exemption. 2 years after the effectivity of this act, no person shall be engaged in teaching and or act as a professional teacher as defined in this act, whether the preschool, elementary, or secondary level, unless he is duly registered professional teacher and a holder of a valid certificate of registration and a valid professional license or a holder of a valid special temporary permit. Article 4. Provision relative to the practice of the teaching profession. Section 27. Inhibition against the practice of teaching profession, except as otherwise allowed under this act, no person shall practice or offer to practice the teaching profession in the Philippines or be appointed as teacher to any position calling for a teaching position without having previously obtained a valid certificate of registration and a valid professional license from Commission. Section 28. Penal provisions. The following shall be punishable by a fine of not less than 5,000 pesos nor more than 20,000 pesos or imprisonment of nor less than 6 months nor than 5 years or both, at the discretion of the court. Any person who practices the teaching profession in the Philippines without being certified in accordance with the provision of this act, any person who represent or attempt to use as his own certificate or registration that of another, the penalty of fine or imprisonment or both, as provided in this section, shall also apply to any school official who shall cause or be responsible for the commission of any of the above enumerated acts. Section 29. Appropriations. Such sum as may be necessary to carry out the provision of this act shall be included in the 1996 General Appropriation Act and thereafter. Section 30. Implementing guidelines. The board shall formulate and adopt the necessary guidelines for the effective implementation of the provision of this act with 60 days of its approval. The board shall submit to both committees of education, arts and culture, and the committees on civil service and professional regulation of the Senate and House of Representatives copies of implementing rules and guidelines within 30 days after the promulgation. Any violence of these sections shall render the officials concerned liable under Republic Act Number 6713, otherwise known as the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees, and other pertinent administrative and or penal laws. Section 31. Transitory provision. All incumbent teacher in both the public and private sector not otherwise certified the professional teacher by virtue of this act shall be given 5 years temporary certificates from time The Board of Professional Teacher is organized with in which to qualify as required by this act and be included in the roster of professional. Provided, however, that the professional board examination for teacher or PBAT shall still be administered by Civil Service Commission and the Department of Education, Culture and Sport for the year 1995. Section 32. Separability Clause. If for any reason, any section or provision of this act or the application of such section or provision to any person or circumstance is declared unconditional, un- unconstitutional or invalid, no other section or provision of this act shall be affected thereby. Section 33. Repealing Clause. All laws, presidential decrees, executive order, rules and regulation or parts thereof inconsistent with the provision of this act are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Section 34. Effectivity Clause. This act shall take effect after 15 days following in complete publication in the official gazette or in two newspaper or general circulation approved December 16, 1994.
The third law, which is the Republic Act number 9293, revises certain sections from the Republic Act number 7836. In this law, it consists of 7 sections. Sa Section 1, it refers to Section 15. So kanina section, to take the exam daw, kailangan ka na graduate ka sa imong course. For teachers in preschool, a bachelor's degree in early childhood education, and for teachers in the elementary grades, a bachelor's degree in elementary education. And for teachers in the secondary grades, a bachelor's degree in education or its equivalent with a major and minor, or a bachelor's degree in arts and sciences with at least 18 units in professional education, and for teachers of vocational and 2-year technical courses, a bachelor's degree in the field of specialization or its equivalent with at least 18 units in professional education. So ang Section 2 refers to Section 26, the registration and exception. So kani siya, no person shall engage in teaching without the approved teaching certificate. So bisag elementary, secondary, or any levels, it must be registered as a professional teacher. Kung magtaka-taka lang kag tudlo na wala pa ka na-approvean ani na certificate, kay bawal na siya. If 5 years na wala ka nag-teach, you must take 12 units of education courses, 6 pedagogy units, and 6 content units and training asad. So to those na fail sa exam, they will become para-teachers. Given a 2-year special permit, they will be assigned in areas which are lacking or shortage of professional teachers. So ang Section 3 refers to Section 31, the transitory provision. So kani siya, ang katong mga permits na para sa para-teachers, it can be renewed and extended until 5 years na siya taman. So ang Section 4 refers to Section 25 na ang term sa Department of Education and Culture and Sports, it will be also called as DEX, and Department of Education will be DepEd. Kaya gi-shorten na siya. Nya. Ang last, kay Section 5 to 6, Separability and Repealing Clause, and Section 7, Effectivity. If the court didn't agree well on this act, it will not be applied, but the act is approved on April 2, 2004. Thank you.